Spring football fans, UFL fans. Well, it's here. It is conference championship week. But first, let's talk about some of the awards that were given out this week. Mike Nolan, congratulations. He is coach of the year for the Michigan Panthers. Of course, he was 4-6 last year in the North Division. He made the playoffs despite that, and they were beaten by the Pittsburgh Maulers last year. This year, they improved to 7-3 and made the playoffs. So, congratulations to Mike Nolan. I got no problem with the pick. You could have easily made the case for Wade Phillips because Wade Phillips had the odds most against him to win the USFL championship. And for the second year in a row, Wade Phillips is in the playoffs. This time as a heavy underdog. So I would have had no problem if they had given it to Wade Phillips either. Now for the all UFL team. Special teams, kicker Jake Bates of the Michigan Panthers. No surprise there. Punter Marquette King of the Arlington Renegades. No surprise there. Long snapper Jordan Ober of the Michigan Panthers. Return specialist Chris Roll of the DC Defenders. No surprise there either. Now, despite that, the special teams player of the year in the UFL was Chris Garrett of the St. Louis Battlehawks, who had about two block punts this year, among other things. So he's your player of the year for special teams. That is your special teams all UFL team. Now defensive line. Carlos Davis of Birmingham, Daniel Wines of Michigan. Michigan had quite a few people on defense. And why? Because they had the best defense, arguably. Edge outside linebackers Chris Odom of the Roughnecks. Breland Speaks of the Michigan Panthers, who will probably be the defensive player of the year because that man has been an absolute beast. Devontae Beckett of San Antonio and Willie Harvey of St. Louis are your inside linebackers. Quarterbacks, my former guy, the Giants, DeAndre Baker of the DC Defenders, Nate Brooks of the Michigan Panthers, and A.G. Harris of the Renegade. Safety, Kai Nakua of Michigan, A.J. Thomas of Birmingham. But I'm still going to give the player of the year probably to Breland Speaks because I just think he's been the best player on defense altogether. Just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Now for the offense. Center, Mike Panasiuk of St. Louis. The guards are Zach Johnson of Birmingham and Cole Lavelle of San Antonio. The tackles are Jared Jones-Smith of St. Louis and Bobby Evans of Arlington. Tight end, Jay Sternberger of Berea. Wide receivers, Hakeem Butler of St. Louis, definitely no surprise there. David Davis of Memphis, and Marcus Sims of Michigan. Running back, Jacob Sailors. Listen, you could have put a few running backs there, but they gave it to him. Big deal. And quarterback, Adrian Martinez of the Birmingham Stallions. Now, I do think Adrian Martinez will be the offensive player of the year. But if you ask me, the most valuable player of the year should be A.J. McCarron. Why do I say that? Because if Adrian Martinez goes down for the Stallions, they still have Matt Corral and Javar Smith, who won a championship as a starter in year one. A.J. McCarron goes down for St. Louis, and you have Manny Wilkins. So not only do I not think that A.J. McCarron is the most valuable player of the team, of the league, I would say right now he's the most important player of the year of the league because right now I am going to say it again this week. You want A.J. McCarron in that final in St. Louis. This is all about business right now. I want the league to be strong. And the league needs A.J. McCarron and not just the St. Louis Battlehawks. So That is your all UFL team this year, as well as your coach of the year. Like I said, you could have easily given to Wade Phillips. He had the worst odds to win it all, and he's 1 game away from the championship. But let's talk about the conference finals this week. We'll start with the USFL conference final. That will be a Saturday game, June 8th at Protector Stadium. That's a 3 p.m. Eastern game. That game will be on ESPN, I believe, either ESPN or ABC. And the simulcast will be on Sirius XM Radio, Channel 81 on ESPN Extra. 7-3 Michigan at 9-1 Birmingham. Of course, these two teams met last week. Birmingham wins it 20-19. A game that meant nothing but was fun to watch. How will that translate this week? I mean, last year we saw what happened when the Arlington Renegades and the Houston Roughnecks met in back-to-back weeks. We saw Houston win in Week 10, a game that meant nothing. And then we saw Arlington upset them at Houston in one of the conference championship games of the XFL. Now, one interesting note, the guy I thought the Panthers should start a quarterback, Bryce Perkins, is on injured reserve. I think that hurts. I still think Bryce Perkins is their best quarterback and their best option to win this year. But it looks like now it's Danny Etling's team. And I'm sorry, Michigan fans, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm not losing sleep over Danny Etling. Bryce Perkins was a dual threat. But the two things the Michigan Panthers have gone from, you could say they have the most physical defense in the league, and they have a solid running game. And they're going to need that running game to beat Birmingham this week, but they cannot be one-dimensional against this Birmingham team. Now, what I've seen from the Birmingham Stallions the last few weeks, I don't like the way their offensive line is playing. Adrian Martinez is getting sacked more than ever. He's being hurried and pressured. And if Birmingham expects to win their third championship in a row, that line needs to play better. And you don't want to be weak against a team like Michigan Panthers. Now, listen, last week they got away with it. Again, in a game that really meant nothing. In order for that game to mean anything, the Michigan Panthers had to win by more than 23 points to get the number 1 seed. And regardless, the game was being at Protector Stadium anyway because of the ridiculous stadium snafu the XFL had. So this game is intriguing this week for that reason. Last week's game was, I guess, not for fun, for bragging rights, or to fill each other out for the following week. But this week, it means a trip to St. Louis on June 16th. Now, despite the fact that Birmingham has shown a lot of dents in that armor, and in fact, I'm saying they look exactly the way the DC Defenders looked last year, and we saw how that ended up in the championship game. Right now, I still think the Birmingham Stallions are the best team in the league. Now, does that mean Michigan can't win this game? Not at all. That defense is brutal. That running game is pretty good. And if Danny Etling could just match a game, they just give him some type of passing game, they can win this game. Now, what I'd like to know is, how much is Birmingham going to draw? Now, it looks like the weather for Birmingham at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time for kickoff is going to be about 87 degrees and about 49% humidity. Not exactly the most comfortable football conditions for players, and it's not going to be real good probably either for the fans. Although not horrible, not great either. And the Birmingham attendance has been disappointing all year except for maybe the game against the St. Louis Battlehawks. But Birmingham, in my eyes, has been the best team since before kickoff. I still think they're the best team now. I think they will win. It is not going to be easy. I am taking them in another squeak of this week, 24-20. So I think Birmingham's going to be headed to St. Louis for the championship game. Now, the second conference game, the XFL Conference Final. This will be a Sunday night primetime game. 7 p.m. Eastern. It is going to be the San Antonio Brahmas and the St. Louis Battlehawks at the Dome in St. Louis. These two teams met last week. St. Louis wins 13-12, despite the fact that, A.J. McCarron did not look real good last week. He looked very rusty. And, of course, Chase Garbers got hurt. So Quentin Doherty is going to be playing again this week probably. I've heard nothing about Chase Garbers playing. He re-injured the same wrist. I'm just going to assume he's out for the game and the rest of the year. That San Antonio defense, again, under Wade Phillips, is pretty damn good. And we saw what they did to the Birmingham Stallions, but they've also lost twice to the St. Louis Battlehawks. Albeit, both games have been close. This is going to be a fun game. I was hoping for Chase Garbers against A.J. McCarron. Even though I've not been a big on Quentin Doherty this year, he has been solid in place of Chase Garbers. And this game should probably come down to the last play of the game. Or at least until the bitter end. I'm going with St. Louis. I am not going to lie. There's a big bias here by me. I went St. Louis in the game because I want a huge crowd for the XFL Championship. And the only way that's really going to happen is if St. Louis is in the championship game. If St. Louis is in the championship game, I think they could draw 50,000 people. If St. Louis is not in the championship game, I think it'll go down to maybe 20 or 25,000 like last year's championship game in San Antonio. And plus, I want to see A.J. Martinez and A.J. McCarron face off again. I think that would be the most intriguing matchup for the USFL. To see the Birmingham Stallions go for a three-peat, and this time go into the most hostile arena in the league to do it. Now, Birmingham has had the benefit of having home field advantage for the first 2 years in the league, except in the playoffs. So, if they win this one, you could call them a dynasty. When was the last professional football team you saw win 3 in a row? I'm going to assume it would have to be the Green Bay Packers prior to the Super Bowl era, or maybe going into the Super Bowl era. Or you could see St. Louis stop them from doing that at St. Louis. Either way, the game would be pretty intriguing. That is the match I've been wanting to see since the midway point of the season. We're this close away from getting it. I'm taking Birmingham. I'm taking St. Louis in this game. It will be a fun game. Last week was 13-12. I'm going to go 2016 St. Louis. So I'm going to stick to my original prediction from the mid-season on. And what I wanted to see all along, that's Birmingham and St. Louis. Now, at the beginning of the year, I had Memphis and Birmingham playing in the USFL Championship game. I got half of that right and half of that totally wrong. And I had DC and St. Louis playing the other championship game, so I got half of that right and half of that totally wrong also. So I've been saying that Birmingham has been the best team all year, and I'm still going with that. But those are your picks. Birmingham and St. Louis to face in the UFL Championship game on June 16th. Let me know what you think, what's your opinion like to know. Like and subscribe to the channel. I will be in St. Louis with my daughter for that game. I cannot wait. I'm hoping I get the match I want. I'm hoping to have over 50,000 at the Dome. And for the love of football, We will talk to you later.